Hi and welcome to your Twitter webinar. It's actually a video, so let's get started. What are we going to be talking about? We are going to be talking about elements of Twitter, best practices, best tweets, analytics, how to grow engagement, and how to manage it so you stay sane. Well, let me start with a quiz. So I just wanted to ask you this quiz because a lot of people think they just don't realize this, and if you are going to be a part of my educational process, I would like you to know this. I'd like you to be one of those people that actually get this right. So the question here in this little quiz is examine the following scenario. Say you have 100 tweets and you have 100 followers and I have 100 followers, and you tweet out at Sophie Andreu, so my handle, at Sophie Andreu is an awesome digital marketing trainer, basically our digital maven. So you've tweeted that out. So before any engagement, when the tweet is sent out, how many people's home feeds does it go to? Does it go to all of your 100 plus all of my 100 and the two of us? So does it go to 102? Or does it go to only all of your followers plus us two, so 102? Or does it go out to just you and I, so 2? Or does it go out to nobody? So remember, we don't have any followers in common. So what happens? And you started it with my handle. So the answer is, do you know the answer? What do you think the answer is? At Sophie Andreu is an awesome digital marketing trainer, and we both have 100 followers on Twitter. It actually only goes out to two people. That's why you'll see in many cases a tweet that people start. If you wanted this to go out to all of your followers as well as myself, you should have started it with a period at Sophie Andreu. So you'll find that a lot of people are tweeting and they'll have a period in front of it, and you go, why did they do that? That's why, because they want the tweet to go out to all of their followers as well as the person that they happen to be mentioning. So that's one little thing that I want you to make sure that you get right when you're tweeting, because you've seen this and you're part of my educational process here. So that was just a little quiz. So what are the elements of Twitter? The elements of Twitter is they have a cover. So your profile on Twitter has a cover. It has a logo, and the logo is now in a circle. You'll notice it wasn't too long ago that it was actually in a square. So it's actually circled. So this triangle for the Community Futures triangle looks really good in a circle. And then you have the name of the company, so the name of the human or the company, and then the handle. So the handle is also your username. The handle is unique. The handle becomes part of your URL. So the handle for this company would be www.twitter.com/ and then their handle. And I think it's NRTHMBRLAND, CFDC. So it would be / their handle. Their username is also happens to be the same, and their URL is www.twitter.com/ and what they've used as their handle. So the handle is unique. The handle can only be 15 characters long. So that's why you'll find if you just put follow us on Twitter, most people won't be able to find you. You really have to type out at and your handle if you got it on signs or things like that. So those are the elements. You've got a cover, you got a logo, you have your name, you have your handle, and you have your about section right here, a very short about section. Then right here you're going to see all of if someone clicks on that, they're going to see all of your tweets. They're going to see, if they click on this, everyone that you're following. They're going to see, if they click on this, all of your followers. So everyone you're following, all of your followers, everything that you've liked, and your list, if you have any lists. I'll be talking about lists in a moment. Say you decide, I'm a little new to Twitter, and I wonder who I should follow. Go to a company that you think has similar interests to you and click on followers. That'll help you understand who to follow. If you're looking at who are my giants, then who are people that are influencers? I'll be talking about that further down. And why do we care about influencers? Because people trust influencers if they know them, obviously they're following them, they know them, so they trust them 89% more than they trust someone they don't know. They don't know you, so they don't know your brand. So if an influencer retweets you or shares your information, they're going to trust it 89% more. So that's why it's important to know who your influencers might be. How do I tag them and engage them on Twitter so they might retweet me? You'll find that's when most of your growth happens. Another time that most of your growth happens on Twitter, you'll find are at events. So the other elements of Twitter, up here, home, when you click on home, that you will then be just like in Facebook or in Instagram, you'll be where you're seeing everybody that you're following, all of their tweets. If you click on notifications, that's anyone who's been trying to get your attention. It's your notification. Anyone who's mentioned you, anyone who has retweeted a tweet that you've been mentioned in, anybody who tags you in a photo. So anyone that's trying to get your attention. Messages, they are private messages. No one else sees them. They're private just to you on Twitter. So someone might be reaching out to you. Someone could only send you a message as if they're following you. So I can't send you a message if I'm not following you. Did you know that? That's pretty cool. So, and I actually have to check on that if that's still the case. I imagine it's still the case. Because that was always a good thing where you couldn't get spammed on Twitter like you can on other platforms, as we know. And then I'm going to show you what happens when you click on your little head. When you click on your little head, you get all sorts of things like your analytics, like editing your profile. And this is where you click if you want to tweet, and there you can't really see it, sorry. If you want to search for other people's tweets, this is where you would click, and I'll show you that as well. And this is where you click if you want to tweet. So let's continue. So what happens, so like I said, if you click on home, what comes up are everyone that you're following. So you'll see all the tweets of the people that you're following, or if they've retweeted something, it behaves as a tweet for them, so you'll see that as well. Okay, and trends for you, it's kind of cool. You can look at that on when you're on looking at on your home. You'll see trends for you. So based on your behavior, it's going to tell you what it thinks you might be interested in. So if you click on this little head, let me scroll down. What's going to happen is you're going to have these other elements that you can have access to of Twitter. So the ones I'm going to talk to you about is your profile, how to edit your profile. Another one is that I'm going to talk to you about is your lists. I find lists very effective. And the other one I'm going to talk to you about are your analytics on Twitter and how to take advantage of how to pay for Twitter ads, how to tweet something and then go back to it and target it to your target market. So those are the elements of Twitter: home, notifications, messages. You can search, you can click on this, and you'll be able to edit your profile. So now I've clicked on this, and I've clicked on edit profile, and this is where I come. So I've clicked on my head, clicked on profile, and then I will click on, and then it brings me here where I can change my cover. What I always suggest on the cover is think of the 3 things you want to be known for and put those in the cover. Like create your image of those 3 things in the cover. I think that's kind of a good way of doing it. That's what I also suggest on LinkedIn for your cover on LinkedIn. Your profile, this is round now, so I suggest you think of, does my logo work or does my profile work in a rounded situation? So that might be something you want to look at. So this is your company name, or your profile name right there. So that's a cool thing to, that ends up showing up next to your profile photo, next to your logo. The company name shows up there. And then what shows up next to that in tiny letters is your handle. And then you have your bio. And your bio, if you have I should probably change this to Sophie Marketing Tips is what I've been using lately. If you have something here, which is a hashtag that you use, you may want to put it there. If you have a couple of different handles as a company, you may want to put some of the different handles. So for example, FedDev, or perhaps Community Futures _ Eastern Ontario. There are 15 Eastern Ontario Community Future organizations, maybe they want to put Community Futures underscore Eastern Ontario in their bio so people can follow them as well. So people often, if they have a number of brands underneath their home company, they would put their handles in their bio. And the location you're in, your website, and you can actually change the themes of the colors if you like. So that's what happens when you get to profile, to edit your profile. That's where you do it. So I have another question for you. So as you know, on Facebook, you can have you log in with your email and password, and it takes you to your personal profile. Just like on LinkedIn, you log in with your email and password, and it takes you to your personal profile. So my question to you on Twitter is, when you log in with your email and password, it takes you to a profile. So is that your personal profile? Is it your business profile? What am I getting at? So on Facebook, you log in with your personal profile, or on LinkedIn, you log in and it's your personal profile. But you can manage as many company or business pages as you want. You can create more pages, business pages. You can have only one profile, but you can create a lot of business pages. So my question to you here is, on Twitter, when you log in, can you also create a bunch of business pages, or is it just one profile? So on Twitter, how many Twitter profiles can one's individual email manage? That's what I'm kind of getting at here. So how many can you manage on Twitter, knowing on Facebook and LinkedIn it's unlimited? So is it unlimited like Facebook and Twitter? Is it 4? Is it 3? Is it 2? Is it 1? It's 1. So on Twitter, it's pretty simple. You have one profile, and it manages the one username that you can create, and that's it. Okay, so that's something I wanted to share with you. Not sure everyone knows that, but that's significant. So what happens is, if you have your own human account on Twitter and you work at a company, you need to create another. You have an email, and you for that company, maybe it's your Gmail account that you're managing your Google Analytics with. That's what I suggest you do. If you have a Gmail account that you're managing your Google listing with, and your analytics, and your Google ads, and your YouTube, I suggest you use that same Gmail account to also manage your Twitter profile. That way you've got a social account with that Gmail account. Anyway, so one email to one profile on Twitter. It's not like Facebook, where you have one email, one profile, and you can create a whole bunch of business accounts. At least it's not like that yet. Who knows what it'll be like tomorrow? This changes daily. So Twitter lists is something that I find very useful for businesses, for retail, for business to business. And let me just share with you what they are. So if you go to your lists, should be pointing over here, go to your lists. If you have lists, they all come up. Now, what ends up happening is, you can see the number of lists. I'll be in different meetings or training sessions often. I'll show them how to create it, and I may not finish it, so that's what you see here. But I have 14 members in the Ontario Chamber of Commerce list. I have 60 members in the Peterborough Love Local Expo list. So I have these different lists. So why would you do that? So if you happen to be, well, let me use Community Futures Eastern Ontario as an example again. If you're Community Futures Eastern Ontario, and you support these 15 community futures in Eastern Ontario, you might want to have a list of your community futures of all 15. Why? Because then you can look at them anytime just at their tweets. So instead of all seeing everybody's tweets that you're following, you can actually click on the list and see just the tweets from people in that list. It's a very effective way of having a routine of just checking what's going on in that list. If you're going to a conference, as I went to this little conference back in 2018, and I knew that there was going to be all sorts of people at that conference that were also people that had booths as I did, I wanted to help support each other at that conference. So I created a list of everybody at that conference, put in a list all of their handles, and that way I could look at that list and see exactly if anyone was tweeting from that conference, and then I could retweet them, I could like it, I could share, we could start helping each other grow. So you might use it for content. Maybe there's a whole bunch of industry experts that you respect and you'd like to put them into a list. And that way you can look at just that list every so often if you're looking for content. You could put in your community partners. If you wanted to put in, say you're in one community like I am in Peterborough, and I wanted to have my economic development, my Chamber of Commerce, my Women's Business Network, and my Workforce Development Board, my Community Futures, my Innovation Cluster, all in, and maybe my university and my college, all in one list. So I can just look from time to time what my community is doing. See what I mean? So you can really have as many different types of lists depending on what you do for a living there. So lists help you stay sane. They're easier to manage than trying to hope that you don't miss something. If you have giants that you really want to treat them well, maybe you're going to put them in a list. Community of interests, if you have a community of interest, you can put them into a list. Maybe you want to see what your competitors are doing. Maybe you put them in a list, all your competitors, so you can keep an eye on them. So lists, you can manage lists from your desktop or from your phone or from tools like Hootsuite or Sprout Social or Buffer. So this, for example, I clicked on this list, Peterborough Love Local Expo, and anyone who's on that list that tweets, I just see their tweets come up. So that's pretty cool. And then you can click on this list members if you wanted to, and you can edit it and add or delete members from it. So my quiz question to you, are lists public or private? So if I go to you or you come to me, are you going to see all of my lists? Or are you not going to see any? Or perhaps I have the choice of which ones you can see. That's the correct answer. Are lists public or private? I guess the answer is yes, they are either. You can create your list to be either public or private, and your lists are, and then if you come to see my list, you're not going to see my private list, you're only going to see my public list. And people are notified if they're put onto a public list. So some people put me on a public list as a resource for social media and marketing information. I'm notified. If they put me on a private list, I'm not notified. Well, not just me, anybody. Okay. So how to create lists? Everyone is different. Or why create lists? How create lists? So I already went through this. I'm not sure why that's there a second time, and we already showed that. So the elements of Twitter, I'm just going to continue on different elements. So I've shown you how to modify your profile, how to put on a lovely cover like we have here for Community Futures Eastern Ontario, how to modify your profile photo or your logo here. I've showed you how to modify what it says here for your content, for your bio. I've showed you how to click on this and how to find your lists. And so those are cool things. So now what I want to show you is some of the different tweets in a second. So another element of Twitter is you can pin to the top a tweet. So they tweeted this back on March 19th, but you'll find that it's actually pinned to the top. So if I go to their Community Futures CF _ Eastern, so twitter.com/CF _ East, or if I go and I search for @CF _ East, if I search for that here, I come to their profile, I come to their account, and it says something called pin tweet. What does that mean? What that means is they have pinned this to the top. So it was tweeted some time ago, but they have clicked on this down arrow, and for them, when they do that, because it is their account, they can pin this to the top because they want people to see this video first if someone comes back to their profile. So you can see this video has had a large number of views, 300 views. It's had, I think Vince had said they had 6,000 reach on this video. So you can see this video has done extremely well. It's been retweeted 23 times, retweeted 13 times, liked 23 times. So it's getting a lot of reach, and it's basically saying to people, hey, this is what we're about. okay, which is really smart because often if you're at a conference or something, you're retweeting stuff, you've got things going on your own Twitter. If someone comes to see it, they may not realize exactly what you're about. So this is a good reason to pin something to the top. So that's a really cool element on Twitter. So how do you tweet? I showed you earlier. I'm just going to go back to it. What you click on, because I'm not live right here. So when you click on right at the top right corner, tweet. You click on that. You click on tweet. Might be a different color based on your color palette that you've chosen earlier. On your phone, you're going to click on something that looks like a plume. So you're going to click on tweet or on that plume, and in both cases on your phone or on your computer, you come to this. And what this is here is where you're going to start typing your text. So you put your cursor on it and it's going to bring you up a keyboard, so you're starting to type your text. If you'd like to add a photo or video to it, you click on this. If you want to add a GIF to it, a moving image, it'll let you search for one and you can add that to it. If you want to put a poll on there, you can put that on there. If you want to put a indicate where you happen to be, you click on this. Okay, so this is how you tweet. Where it's often I remember people saying, well, you've given me a great lecture on tweeting, on the best elements of Twitter and how to tweet, but I wasn't sure where to start the tweet. So that's how you start the tweet. Okay, so the perfect tweet. So there are many different elements to Twitter, but in general, the perfect tweet might have an image that you've put with it. A vibrant image. We all know that images that have vibrant colors get seen more. Or it might have a video that you've uploaded to the tweet. So you can upload up to 2 minutes and 20 seconds of a video. It used to be just 6 seconds. They've really increased the amount of time. Even on Instagram, it's just 1 minute. So on Twitter, it's 2 minutes and 20 seconds. On LinkedIn, as you know, it's 10 minutes. So it's 2 minutes, or is it 7 minutes? But 2 minutes and 20 seconds on video. I didn't mean to say so let me just focus. So you can upload a video, you can upload an image, or you can have a link that you link back to the article that you're talking about, perhaps. A lot of us do that. So Twitter is used a lot by business to business, B2B. So there's a lot of articles or sign up for this event that goes on Twitter. There's a lot of infographics that go on Twitter. There's a lot of images at events and conferences. Twitter is also used quite a bit by sports personalities and as a sporting event is going on. So there's photos of the sporting event itself. Twitter's used a lot at conferences so it's often will have information about the conference, a hashtag about the conference, a hashtag about the sporting event, and a hashtag maybe about the company event that we're talking about. So Twitter, you want to use keywords because it is indexable. Indexable, is that a word? By Google. Your hashtag for the event you're at or the industry you're in. There's trending hashtags. So depending what you'd like to do, you'd like to also understand your regional hashtag. So in Peterborough, our regional hashtag is hashtag PTBO. So if we want to be included, if someone's going to search for hashtag PTBO and we'd like our tweet to come up, we should be using hashtag PTO in the language of the tweet. Tweets are up to 280 characters. I don't have this written here, so I apologize for that, but tweets are up to 280 characters. Used to be 140 characters, so some of my book might be out of date because if I think about it now, because last time I updated it, I believe I updated it in my most recent version of my book, which we just launched last week, so it is up to date for 280 characters. So often what you need to do, just like any other social media platform, you want it to be engaging. So ask a question. If you can pose your tweet as a question versus just a statement yelling at people, it's much more effective. If you could be educational, informative, it's much more effective. If you can mention a giant who you're hoping might retweet you, that's awesome. If it comes naturally that it makes sense that they might be mentioned within the tweet, that works really well. And then if you have a photo versus a video attached to your actual tweet, you can actually tag that photo, and it doesn't take up, tag the photo with other people's handles. It doesn't take up any of your 280 characters, which is really cool. So here's an example of a perfect tweet. So this is a tweet that was a video. We took it. I happen to have taken this video. So you took the video, a tweet with your phone, with my phone, and I had them each say, "Come to our open house," I think is what they were saying, something like that. And so they each had a word that they said. It was a video. It was kind of fun, and we got a lot of likes on it, 8 retweets. In it, we said, "We have a big announcement on our holiday open house here at our new location." I said, "At Venture North," which is their new location building. "Where?" "At downtown PTBO." So I tagged the DBIA in it as well. On Tuesday, the time, because I like to indicate what time things are at so they don't have to go searching for it. And then I said, "Come hear our big news and celebrate." And I tagged certain organizations that I knew are influencers in town that would be interested in also retweeting and supporting this event that's going on. So you always want to think about that when you're tweeting, is I'm not just going to put that out there. So this would have been horrible if I just said, we've got a big announcement at our open house. Well, when is it? So we've said when it was. Where is it? We said where it was. And then you're also going to tag some people that might help you spread the message. Okay, so this one's had 482 views, and it's often because of who you tag. They're going to share it. So here's another good tweet that you can see. We have some photos of real people, photos with real people. There's Ryan, there's Michelle, there's Vince, with real people in it. Do very well. They don't want to just have a sign that, funding partners panel. They actually want to see the panel in action. So that was really cool. So we had what they were doing there, but then you can also see down here, we tagged in the photo without taking up any room, any characters in the actual tweet. If it's a photo, you can actually tag the photo. You cannot tag a video. So you can see I didn't tag anyone on this one. But I tagged people on this one. So you can see tagging a photo is very effective. We had 6 retweets, 14 likes. It really helps get the word out. So here's another one. I mentioned earlier that to use authentic photos of real people, but I find people really are liking quotes as well, when it makes sense, when it reinforces what your purpose is about. In this case, it's innovation. This company, Community Futures PTBO, and all the other community futures, they're all about community growth, and in part through innovation, right? So this was a quote on innovation. We actually do these a couple times a week, and they do really well. Liked 16 times, retweeted 6 times. And I tagged a whole bunch of different community partners that I know also appreciate innovation quotes, so they might retweet them as they did. And I also used some hashtags that I felt were effective: Motivation Monday, Stronger Together, Team PTBO. So some of these cool hashtags. I could have just used also hashtag PTBO now that I think about it. So here's another good one. This shows, remember I was saying that this is, if you retweet someone, it shows up in your own news feed. So this is, in your own timeline, on your timeline. So on April 16th, Community Futures Eastern Ontario retweeted something from FedDev Ontario. So this is what happens. You retweet it. So this just keeps on getting larger and larger. As you retweeted, it would have been 13. If you liked it, it would have been 57. So that's how that works. So Twitter analytics. Remember I said if you click on your little head up here, I'm just going to go back to it. If you click on your little head, down came a drop down, and one of the things that came in it was analytics. So what happens there is you have access to really, really good information. Really good information. So if you haven't clicked on your head and the word analytics isn't there, it's because you haven't activated your Twitter analytics. You have to activate it first. And to activate it, let me just find what it is. From current show. Okay. So if you are on Twitter and you go to your little head and you don't see the word analytics, it's because you haven't um, uh, activated it yet. So you have to go to analytics.twitter.com first and click on that. So you're signed into your Twitter and the analytics isn't there. So now what you want to do is go into the open up a browser next to it, open up a tab next to the one that Twitter is in, go to this actual link, analytics.twitter.com, and it will activate for free your Twitter analytics. So the next time you come back to your analytics, if you come back right away, these won't be there. It's going to be naked. But when you come back in a few days, it's actually going to start filling in all of your history as far as your top tweet. It's going to start filling in your top mention. It's going to start filling in how far your impressions were. It's going to start filling in how many people mentioned you. And so it goes month by month. So as you scroll back, you're going to, see last month. You scroll back a bit more, you're going to see the month before. You scroll back a bit more, you're going to see the month before. And what you're going to see in that, you're going to see that month, which was your top tweet, which was your top mention, who was your top follower. So this follower had 528,000 people following them. So that was my top follower that month. Who was my top media? Who in the media? Twitter decides who is media. So who's been my top media that retweeted me? And top mention, it means who gave you the most engagement by their tweet. Pretty cool, eh? So that's really helpful because then it helps you understand what kind of tweets people find interesting. It helps you understand who's supporting you the most and the most effective. So which one of your influencers are actually getting you a lot of reach, and then who's your top media supporter. So it's good to know that, because then maybe I might show Sam a little bit more love here than because he's actually supporting me so well, then I'm going to want to support him even more. Sorry, I called him Sam. So then Twitter Analytics, another thing it shows you on your Twitter Analytics is the interests of the people that are following you. It's very interesting, no pun intended. So it tells you they're interested in dogs, science news, weather, tech news. So you can use that to your advantage. So if you have a tweet that has something to do with something they're interested in, you're obviously going to get more engagement than if they're not interested in it. It also shows you their household income, which is very fascinating, and it shows you their consumer buying styles. What are they buying? Premium brands, in my case, home cooking and grilling. So that's really cool. So I'm going to just continue here because these are things that we've already talked about. But what I haven't talked about was Google Ads. So in a I didn't mean to say Google Ads, Twitter Ads. So in your Twitter Ads, it's not going to feel new to you if you have also done Facebook ads or Google ads for that matter. Basically, it asks you, well, what do you want this ad for? Are you trying to get more people to your website? Are you trying to get more followers to your account? Are you trying to get maximum brand awareness? Are you trying to increase people's engagement in that one specific tweet? You're trying to promote a video. What do you want? You click on the one that you want, and then it walks you through what it is it wants you to do. So if you want to get tweet engagement, it's going to ask you to choose the tweet, and then it's going to say, who do you want engagement from? How old? Where are they located? What are they interested in? And then you can even give it some handles. If you want to make sure that certain handles see it, then you're going to be able to, or it's going to say people that follow handles like this. So it's really targeting really nicely. So that's kind of cool. There's something that you may not have seen, Twitter Advanced Search. I really like the Twitter Advanced Search. If you're using something like Hootsuite or Sprout Social or Buffer, they have advanced searches built in their filters. But if you just want to go in and, I want to look at anyone that is using this keyword in a certain location, so anyone that's tweeted this keyword or hashtag in a certain location, you can do that. Isn't that cool? So you can, so this shows you that I looked for anyone who tweeted, I guess I cut it off at the top, but this one was anyone who tweeted the hashtag innovation in the Kingston area, and all these different tweets came up. So that's really interesting. So you can actually use twitter.com/search-advanced to really understand and to see who's interested in certain topics in certain areas. Pretty cool, eh? So that's a good one. So back to Twitter analytics. So home we talked about, you can see your top tweets per month. What I didn't show you was audience. Well, I did show you, but I didn't show you how you got there. You click on audience and you're able to see how far-reaching every month and every day you were, but you're also able to see their interests, their gender, and below you can actually see how much money they're making, which is kind of cool. So you might see next to audience is something called events. What's events, you ask? It's not events as you might think about them. It's not like there's an event at tomorrow that you go and see the Bears Laird or Ignite 100 competition. It's not that kind of event. It's events that are events on on Twitter that are going to blow up because of hashtags, and it's like the May the 4th be with you, for example, coming up May 4th. May the 4th be with you. So that's going to be an event. So I know one of my clients, we are going to have a couple of sales all around May the 4th be with you. So so if you were looking at, okay, how do I take advantage of this, or this, what's this one? That's a Billboard Music Awards coming up, or Memorial Day, or do I want to take advantage of May the 4th be with you? So you click on View More Details. It's going to show you the age group of the people that are interested in that event. It's going to show you the hashtags they use, and it's going to show you the kind of tweets that happened, in this case last year, that they're going to anticipate again this year. So then you can look at that and say, you know what, yeah, I am going to have a few tweets out there that are going to promote something we're talking about, or we're just going to say, something funny about May the 4th be with you, and hopefully it gets retweeted, it gets us some reach, or we're promoting something that we're doing that makes sense to promote with May the 4th be with you, and it gets some shares. So that's how you would use that. So this is really cool. So next to events, there's more. If you click down on it, you're going to find video. So under analytics, you can see your video analytics, which is really cool. And with that, you're able to see from this range to that range, these dates. I want to see all the videos that I've put out on Twitter, and I want to see how long they were viewed. Okay, so this one was viewed the longest. And then so it gives you some details on your videos. So you can see here, you can see the average length. So you can go back to this one and say, well, what was that video about? How can I do more on that of videos like that? Okay, this is back to the ad. If you wanted to promote that video, or if you wanted to promote one of the tweets, these are some of the questions it asks you. So which target audience are you interested in? Where are they located? How old are they? You could even say, what are some of the usernames that I'd like to see my ad? And what it's going to do, it's going to be usernames like it as well. So other ones with PTBO in it, for example, other ones with Kawartha in it. So that's pretty cool. So I wanted to talk to you about adding photos to your tweet. So I have a question for you. Do you know how many photos you can add to one tweet? Is it 1? Is it 10? Okay. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it more? Is it unlimited? As you know, on Facebook, you can add a album. I think there's a limit of 50 to an album, or 30. I don't recall right now. So how many photos can you add to a tweet? So you can actually only add, you know the answer? 4 photos to a tweet. Okay, so you can add 1, you can add 2, you can add 3, or maximum of 4. Okay, so why would you add a photo to a tweet? There's so much noise that goes on, right? We know what happens in a minute out there on social media. There's a lot of activity that goes on. We've all seen that chart before. So you don't want to get lost amongst that that's why we tag our giants. We hope that they're going to retweet us, but we want them to see it even though you've tagged them. So a photo helps. A photo helps make something more personal. It helps get trust. It helps create engagement and improves your reach. So, and you can tag in that photo up to 10 handles without without using up any of your 280 characters. Okay, I forgot I had this as a quiz. So, did you catch that? How many handles can you tag on a tweet with photos? So on a tweet with photos, you've added a few photos to your tweet. How many handles can you tag on those photos? So is it 0? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it 20? So basically it's 10. So even if you just have one photo or 4 photos, it's still just 10. Okay, so that really helps because you can actually, as you can imagine, if you wanted to add 10 handles into your tweet, it's going to take up all your 120 characters. So how do you even tag a photo? So you go to your tweet and you go to compose, you click on that little photo I showed you down here to add the photo. You add the photo, and then this box comes up when you click on who's in this photo, and that's where you tag them. So if you're a B2B, you're going to tag your community partners. If you're a B2B, you're going to tag it, you're going to tag those organizations that you belong to. If you are B2C, you're probably going to, maybe in tourism, you're going to tag your tourism groups. You're going to tag some of those influencers that you are maybe paying to help you retweet your account. So there's a bunch of different people you want to tweet. Best person to tag is a client that you know absolutely loves you, and they're going to retweet you because that's very authentic. There's no question. So elements of a good photo is tags. So as you can see here, I tagged all the people that were in this photo, and we got 12 likes and 7 retweets. So a tag just helps with growth. So how do you add a video to your Twitter to a tweet? So you may be wondering, she talked about photos, but how do I add a video? So first, why would you add a video? Because a video starts playing automatically if you've added a original video. If you added a native video to your Twitter from either your phone or your computer, you can add a video from either. And it helps engagement, it helps create engagement, it helps authenticity, helps with the trust level, all sorts of reasons to add your video. So how do you do it? Oh, and the video can be 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So you want to share the unexpected if you can, because that certainly helps with getting people to share it. That's what they say. The retweeting happens with the unexpected video. So how do you add the video? So you click on tweet, this will come up, and then this thing that looks like a photo is what you click on, and it's for photos or videos. So you click on that, and then that searches your laptop or your phone for the video that you want to add. It lets you trim it right on Twitter. It doesn't let you edit it or anything, but it does let you trim. You got to be careful. I think when you add it, it only adds it. It takes the video and it randomly selects 60 seconds. So you need to expand it if it's more than 60 seconds to how much of that video you want on there. So how Twitter, who and why and how, who to follow on Twitter is what this is all about. So you want to follow people that are part of your tribe. You don't want to just be out there and be selfish and not follow anyone. You want to give and take on Twitter. So you want to follow others, you want to retweet others, you want to like their posts. You know, if it's not something you want to really retweet, just show the love by liking it. So once you follow others, they can direct message you, so you want to remember that. And then it makes it easier for them to, it makes it easier for you to mention them. If you follow others, then when you start typing in, oh geez, I remember that company's name was, you know, beer, something like this. You start typing it at beard, oh, and it comes up because you follow them. So it makes it easy for you to tag them, and when you follow them, and to mention them. So who to follow? You want to follow Those handles who might mention you for sure. You definitely want to follow those. You want to follow ones that you're going to mention because it makes it easier for you to tag them. And you want to follow anyone who you'd like to see their tweets on your home feed. You actually want to see their tweets, so you want to follow them and you'll automatically see their tweets. It's not like Facebook. Facebook suppresses, I think, 97% of any posts. So if you're following a business page, you're only going to see 3% of that business's page's posts. On Twitter, you're going to see all of them. So you want to follow those whose tweets you'd like to see. So how to find who to follow? I suggest you go and look at someone and that you believe has the same kind of target market that you'd like, and then click on who are they following. And then you can just click, okay, oh, they're following these people, I'd like to as well. You just click on follow, follow, follow. So that's one way to figure out who to follow. You start that way, then you start seeing the behavior. Okay, so how to grow your followers? Well, the biggest way to grow your followers is people are going to trust people they're already following. So if you can get someone to retweet your stuff, those people who are following them are going to trust you even more. So that might be you here, someone's retweeted you, and that's going to bring in all of their followers that you don't know to you. So you're going to get 89% more trust when you when third parties share your experiences. So that's what you're going to want to do. So how do you want to find your friendly giants? It could be, of course, your community partners, but it's also often people in town that care about the issues you care about. So you want to look to see who are those people, tag them once in a while, retweet them once in a while, so show the love back. Okay, and of course there's local partners, local celebrities, local entertainers, local educators, sports team, media, politicians, online event sites. There's a lot of online event sites now, community leaders. So these are different types of giants that you can think of that you're going to want to follow. So how to grow your followers? You tag people who care. If you were to tweet and you don't tag people, you're not going to grow, unless you're already grown. So really tagging people who care about your tweets is the biggest thing. Tagging giants who might retweet you. Share effective tweets, and then what you want to do for giants is maybe give them content that they want more of. So you look at the giants, say, what are they looking for? What kind of content do I have that they would be interested in? So, and that's when you tag them. Don't tag the giant just to tag them, because they're going to think that you're spam after a while. They're going to find you annoying. So only tag them when you think you have information that they'd be interested in. You might have some contests with giveaways that helps grows your followers. But a big thing, especially when you're out in public, as many of you are a lot, you want to put your Twitter handle. Don't just put the Twitter symbol, because your Twitter accounts aren't, because they can only be 15 characters long, your Twitter handles are usually very unique, right? So people can't guess what they are unless they're already following you or they see it somewhere. So actually put your Twitter handle on the flyers or on the banners or on the PowerPoints or on the booths or on the ads, so they actually physically see what they are. So put the actual handle out there so that people can see. That in itself will help you grow when you're at an event, if you have your handle up on every PowerPoint, as I always do. Okay, that's one of the things you want to do. Events is where you're going to grow the most. I find events are the most effective. Before you go to an event, as you saw what I did with that one Peterborough Love Local Expo event, I looked at everybody that was going. I took probably a half an hour and I went through all of their, and I started just kind of searching for them through the Peterborough Chamber Twitter account, because it's a Peterborough Chamber event, and I created a list of all of those people that were attending that event. So now, before that event, I was listening for anybody that was going to that event. I was listening for anybody that was talking about the event. And as soon as they talked about it, I would comment, or I would like it, or I would retweet it if it made sense. So before the event, and if it's your event, you want to have a hashtag for that event, create a hashtag, put that hashtag out there, put it on your signs. When you're tweeting about it, use the hashtag. Make sure you tag some giants so they see the hashtag. If you have an event, what I would do, I have a whole process that I do for events. But prior to the event, I want to tweet a little bit about who's going to be at the event, what are people going to learn at the event, why they should come, and then a link once in a while how to register for the event. So all through Twitter. Then during the event, I want to have compelling content from the event so that I'm actually posting live, tweeting live from the event. Sometimes it's hard for you to do it if you're actually running the event. You want to get someone else to do it during the event. It's kind of rude for you to be sitting there composing an event when you're supposed to be hosting all these people. So it's nice if you can get one of your team trained on how to live tweet during the event. So that's very effective. Taking real live pictures, tagging people, using the hashtag. That huge growth happens during events when you do it properly. I like having a live feed at an event showing the tweets happening at the event, and that actually causes more people to take photos and tweet during the event because they want to see themselves up on the big screen. So that's a great way to grow your followers during an event. Then after the event, I like to retweet positive feedback from the event. So if someone said something during the event, afterwards I might retweet it, and ask people to share their experiences. I have follow-up photos that I'll do after the event. So that's a real cool way to grow your followers during an event. So the impact of a giant, I just wanted to share with you, this is something called Sprout Social. It's one of the tools I use. This was an old slide, obviously, but I just wanted to share with you that the impact of events, you see who's retweeted you, and you can see the reach is substantial, and it's often because of the retweeting. So managing Twitter. So as you know, you cannot future post on Twitter as you can on Facebook. On Facebook, you can go to Facebook, you can schedule something into the future. Twitter doesn't give you that ability. I wish it did, but it doesn't. So I use tools like Sprout Social or like Hootsuite to do my future posts. And what I'm able to do is I choose, what stream what this is showing you is actually creating a stream on Hootsuite, where I can put on a stream on Hootsuite everybody from a list, so I can watch them, all of their tweets. Maybe next to it, another list, another column on Hootsuite, I can put anyone who's mentioned me. Next to that, I can put anyone who's mentioned maybe one of my competitors, if I want to watch for that. Maybe a column next to that, I want to put anyone who's maybe mentioned my Chamber of Commerce because I want to see who's mentioning them. So you can have this dashboard, which is really cool, for Twitter, Facebook, all of your social media platforms on these platforms, to see what it is that's going on so that you can actually be in the know and you can be ahead of the competition. You can be in the conversation as soon as it's happening. So that's one of the ways to manage Twitter. And this is what these streams look like. So you're basically have anyone who's mentioned myself. So anyone who's mentioned me comes up there. Anyone who is talking from this one list, tweeting from this one list, would come up here. Anyone who is coming up from this other list that I have would come up there. So I can watch that, so I can like it right from there. I can retweet it right from here. I can do all sorts of information, all sorts of activity right from this dashboard from on Hootsuite. And as you can see, I have one for me, I have one for Cortha TV and Stereo, I have one for Knock on Wood. So it's a really effective way to create a dashboard for your account so you can stay in the know. And this happens to be 3 Twitters in a row, but I could have a Facebook column, and this one is an Instagram column, so I can see what's going on. So I have a question for you. Can you, from Hootsuite, upload a video to Twitter? So as I have I have video on my phone and I create a video, I can upload it right to Twitter, right? So I know that. But can I, from Hootsuite, upload a video to Twitter and future post it or post it now? So as on Hootsuite, I can use that to post to Twitter, to Facebook, from one location, from my dashboard, from one location. So can you upload a native video? Yes or no? The answer is yes. Now you can. You couldn't up to just a couple of months ago, and now you can. So I wasn't using Hootsuite as much as I am now for future posts because I could not upload native video. So I like using it now for uploading videos into the future because I can upload native video on Hootsuite. I can't tag a video, so I use Hootsuite. I don't like using Hootsuite for uploading photos into the future because you can't tag a photo on Hootsuite yet. So as you know, I believe strongly in tagging because that's how you grow. But if I can't tag a photo, I'm not going to just put tweets out there just to put tweets out there. So this is how it works. You select which account you want to post to. So this down arrow would have been all of my accounts would have come up. You put in the text that you want to say for this tweet, and then you click on media and you find the video or the photo that you would like to attach to this post, and then you go to the scheduler and you create a future schedule for it. What I like about this is if you're working in a team, you can have someone checking the posts that are scheduled into the future to correct them. That's what I do when I work with a number of interns. Or they can save them as draft as well. And when they save them as draft, then I can release them into the future if I like as well. So that's a really neat tool. So that's all there is. I already showed you my analytics. I already showed you, I already talked about the events on Twitter and what you do building up to an event. And basically your secret weapon on Twitter is your smartphone, I believe. Learn how to use Twitter from your smartphone. I like to get photos at an event. I put them onto my smartphone. I'm able to tweet with the photos. I have tools on my smartphone that will create little videos for me, like Quick or like Animoto or like Spark Post, and they really help my smartphone become my my secret weapon. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed this Twitter webinar, Twitter video, but thank you very much.